The Federal Reserve just announced its decision not to raise interest rates. It was a decision being watched closely on Wall Street and Main Street. Although the Fed is leaving rates unchanged, it is signaling the likelihood of another hike this year to fight inflation. For more, let's bring in our ABC News business correspondent, Alexis Christoforous. All right, so the decision has been made. Let's kind of lay out now where we go from here.
So, Kira, this is the second time this year that the Fed has left interest rates unchanged as they try to see the results of those 11 interest rate hikes since last March. What is that really doing to the economy and to inflation? We've seen inflation come down from its peak of 9% last year, but at 3.7%, it's still far away from the Fed's 2% target. So what happened today is, while the Fed didn't do anything with interest rates today, they are leaving the door open for at least one more interest rate hike before the end of this year. The Fed meets again in November and then again in December. And then, of course, next year, Wall Street was betting the Fed would start cutting interest rates. The Fed's going to have to see the data before it does something like that. Most were expecting 4 rate cuts next year, and now the Fed is projecting just about 2. So again, we've got ourselves a cautiously optimistic Federal Reserve, Kira.
All right, so stocks trading higher as investors focus on the Fed decision. For how long will the Fed keep rates steady, you think?
Right, and that's the big question. There are lots of challenges for this economy moving forward. First of all, we got this ongoing UAW strike. We've got the writers' strike and the actors' strike. We have the resumption of student loan payments next month. Add to that, you've got a possible government shutdown, and oil prices have been on the rise. So there are lots of reasons here to be very cautious moving forward. And again, today, the Fed signaling that they are not done with their interest rate hiking cycle, and we could see another rate hike at that November or December meeting, which would bring the overall number of rate hikes during this cycle to a dozen, Kira.
Well, consumers are getting hammered as rising wages have contributed, as you know, significantly to inflation in several categories for all of us. When can we expect inflation to go down, maybe see some relief where we're spending every day?
That'd be nice, especially with, holiday shopping season right around the corner. Inflation had been, behaving itself a little bit, but over the past 2 months, we've seen it tick up, and that's mostly because of that rise in oil prices. But today, the Fed seems very optimistic we're going to continue to have a strong economy. The Fed actually raised its economic projections for next year, which means that the Fed is basically taking off the table the possibility of a recession. That's certainly good news for Americans, but there are still so many folks out there struggling to make ends meet because overall inflation has become sort of sticky, right? It's holding on in areas of our economy, and the Fed just can't seem to break on through.
So Powell will speak, later today? What can we expect?
Yeah, we're going to probably have him get grilled on, how many more interest rate hikes are there going to be? Where do you see inflation heading? And when are you going to start cutting interest rates? So lots of questions for Fed Chair Jay Powell. We'll have to see how many of them he's actually going to be willing to answer, Kira.
All right. Alexis Christoforous, great to see you.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.